One act of kindness saved a dragon youngling and earned the pack's loyalty. The wind howled like wild animals. Trees bent low, leaves tore from branches, and rain poured down in thick, angry sheets. The sky was dark, lit only by sharp flashes of lightning. It was a night when most creatures stayed hidden, but Mira, a human researcher, was still outside. She had been walking back to her camp after collecting plant samples deep in the alien jungle. She wrapped her jacket tighter around her body, boots sinking into wet mud. Thunder roared above, and she cursed under her breath. She needed to find shelter fast. Then she heard a sound that didn't belong to the storm. It was soft, almost lost in the wind, but Mira stopped instantly. It was a cry, a small, weak, and desperate cry. Not a human cry. It sounded like a baby animal, but different, more ancient, more scared. Mira's heart skipped a beat. She turned her head, trying to find the direction. Another flash of lightning lit up the sky. To her left, she saw a small hill, and the sound came again from the other side. She hesitated. Her logical mind screamed, "Get back to camp," but something inside her wouldn't let her ignore it. Without thinking, she ran toward the sound. She pushed through wet bushes, thorns, scratching her arms. Her boots slipped, but she didn't stop. As she reached the edge of a fast-moving river, she saw it barely visible in the dark, trapped between two rocks in the water. A small creature, no bigger than a child, with shimmering blue scales and thin, torn wings. Its tail was stuck under a fallen branch, and the water was rising fast. Mira gasped. "A baby dragon," she whispered. She had read about them, rare, dangerous, almost never seen by humans, and never alone. The creature cried again, eyes wide with fear. Mira looked at the rushing river. It was deep, cold. The current was strong, but the creature would die if she didn't act. She dropped her bag and ran into the water. The cold hit her like ice knives. The current pulled hard, but she pushed forward, step by step, using her arms to steady herself. Her heart pounded. The water reached her waist, then her chest. "Hold on," she said, more to herself than to the baby. The dragon cub was trembling. Its scales looked damaged, and its wings hung limp. Mira grabbed the fallen branch and lifted it. It was heavy, but she managed to move it just enough. The baby whimpered and tried to crawl away but was too weak. "I'm not going to hurt you," Mira said softly. With both hands, she scooped the creature up. It was heavier than she expected but warm. It shivered in her arms, curling close. Now came the hard part, getting back. Step by step, Mira fought the current. Her muscles burned. Her legs were numb. A sharp rock cut her knee, but she kept going. She couldn't let go. She wouldn't. After what felt like forever, she reached the riverbank and collapsed to her knees, still clutching the baby dragon. She crawled under a rocky ledge to shield them from the rain. Her body shook. The dragon trembled too. Slowly, she took off her wet jacket and wrapped it around the baby. It didn't growl. It didn't bite. Instead, it looked at her, its glowing blue eyes filled with something that almost looked like trust. Mira stared back. "What are you doing out here alone?" she whispered. The storm raged around them, but under that small shelter, a strange silence grew between the woman and the beast. She reached into her bag, pulled out a small heat pack, and placed it against the dragon's side. It let out a soft noise, almost like a sigh. Mira leaned back against the stone wall. The thought hit her she had just saved a creature no human had touched before. A dragon. And dragons always travel in packs. She looked up at the stormy sky and whispered, "Where's your family?" Her skin went cold, not from the rain, but from fear. If the pack found her holding their baby, what would they do? Mira didn't sleep that night. She sat under the rocky ledge with the dragon cub in her arms, listening to the storm scream above them. The little creature had stopped crying. Now it was sleeping, curled against her chest, breathing slowly. Its scales felt cold but soft, not like metal, not like armor, like life. And that scared her more than anything. She looked at its tiny wings. One was torn, the other folded wrong. Its claws were small but sharp, and even as a baby, the creature had teeth clear and jagged. Mira whispered, "You're not supposed to be real, and yet here you are." She tried not to move too much. She was afraid it would wake up and panic or worse, bite her. But it didn't. Instead, every time the thunder cracked, it shook and snuggled closer, and Mira's heart slowly began to change. She no longer saw a dangerous animal. She saw a child alone, scared, hurt. The storm finally calmed by morning. The rain softened. The jungle mist thickened, quiet like a breath held too long. Mira carefully laid the dragon on a dry patch of moss. She stood and stretched her sore arms. Her body ached from the cold river, the long night, and the weight of what she had just done. Then a sound. Crack. Her eyes snapped to the jungle wall behind her. Something had stepped on a branch. She froze. Another sound. This time from the trees, a low rumble, not thunder, a growl. Mira's heart jumped. She turned and grabbed the baby dragon. It woke up and gave a weak cry. Then came the response roars, deep, close, many. The forest changed. Birds flew off. Leaves didn't move in the breeze. The jungle went still to still. Mira knew what was happening. They were here, the pack. She held the dragon tighter. Please, don't make a sound. But it was too late. From the tree line, something massive stepped forward. Its head rose above the trees. Scales shimmered black and gold. Its breath steamed from wide nostrils. Long horns curled back from its skull. Its glowing amber eyes landed directly on Mira. It saw her. It saw what she held. She didn't run. She couldn't. She knew if she did, it would be over in seconds. So she did something else, something crazy. She dropped to one knee and slowly placed the dragon cub on the ground in front of her. Then she raised her hands. I didn't hurt it, she said, her voice shaking. I saved it. The adult dragon growled. More shapes moved in the trees, big ones. She saw wings, claws, and glowing eyes. They were surrounding her. The cub whimpered, dragging its tiny body toward Mira. No, she whispered. Stay. Show them I helped you. But the cub ignored her. It pushed itself forward and crawled back into her lap. The adult dragon tilted its head. Mira thought, this is it. They'll think I took it. They'll kill me. She closed her eyes, but instead of fire, there was silence. Then a second dragon appeared from the sky, a female. Her wings were beautiful and torn, like the cub's. She landed hard but gracefully. The cub looked up and let out a loud, broken cry. The mother stepped forward. Mira didn't move. The mother dragon reached them, lowered her head. Her eyes scanned Mira and then the cub, and then she growled, not with anger, but with pain. She touched her nose to the baby's head. The cub squeaked. Then she turned and looked at Mira. What happened next, Mira would never forget. The mother dragon leaned down and brushed her snout softly against Mira's chest. Mira didn't move, didn't breathe. The touch was light, gentle, and when the dragon pulled back, a soft glowing mark appeared on Mira's chest, a swirling shape like fire and wind mixed. The pack didn't roar. They bowed, not just to the baby, to Mira. She had done something more than rescue. She had touched dragon law. Mira blinked in disbelief. Why are you bowing? She whispered. And no answer came, only the heavy silence of something ancient being honored. That night, the jungle did not sleep. Mira sat near a small fire deep inside a dragon-made cave, warm, dry, and hidden under thick vines and stone. The baby dragon slept beside her, its head resting gently on her boot. Every now and then, it made soft clicking sounds, like it was dreaming. But Mira didn't feel safe. She couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. A dragon had touched her, and not to attack, but to mark her. A glowing symbol still burned faintly on her chest beneath her shirt, warm, alive. Outside, the jungle whispered. She heard the trees move, felt the tension in the air. Something was wrong. Even the dragons who had escorted her back to the cave had disappeared into the sky, leaving her alone with the baby. Not one had spoken or roared. They had simply vanished. She thought they'd stay. She thought the marking meant protection, but it didn't feel like that now. It felt like she was being watched. Mira stood up and walked quietly to the cave's edge. The moon hung low, and the mist curled around the jungle floor like silver smoke. She listened. A stick snapped far off, then another, closer. Her eyes scanned the trees. Shapes moved between the shadows, not glowing eyes, not dragons. Something else. Her pulse quickened. She stepped back slowly. Suddenly, the baby dragon stirred and let out a sharp chirp like a warning. Shh, Mira whispered. Something's out there. Then it came. A large dark creature burst from the trees, not a dragon, but some kind of predator. It looked like a mutated panther with 6 legs and silver spikes running down its back. Its eyes were deep red, and its mouth dripped thick yellow saliva. Mira stepped between it and the baby. Her breath caught in her throat. The beast growled. She had no weapon, only a torch and a heat pack left in her satchel. Nothing useful. It took a step forward, then another. She held her ground, but her legs were shaking. Suddenly, the creature lunged. Out of nowhere, a blast of fire split the air. A massive dragon slammed down between her and the beast, jaws wide and eyes glowing gold. It was the mother dragon. She didn't roar. She breathed fire. The predator screeched, tried to escape, but the flames followed, twisting through the air like a living wave. It ran, burning, into the dark. Smoke filled the cave. Mira coughed, waving it away. When the smoke cleared, the mother dragon turned to her. Her eyes locked onto Mira's again, but this time they weren't soft. They were sharp, focused, like she was judging her. Another dragon flew in and landed nearby, a lean, dark male with armor like scales. He growled low, looking from the baby to Mira. Then they both did something strange. They circled Mira and then lay down, surrounding her. The baby dragon crawled toward its mother but then turned and nestled against Mira again. The dragons didn't move. They stayed still, watching the jungle. Mira realized something. She hadn't just saved a dragon cub. She had been claimed by it. And now the pack was protecting both of them, not because she was human, but because she was bonded. But that also meant something darker. Something out there was hunting them, something dangerous enough to frighten dragons. And Mira was now a part of it. Hours passed. The jungle remained tense. Every sound echoed. Every branch crack felt like a gunshot. Mira couldn't sleep. She sat upright, back against the stone, gripping a rock in one hand, just in case. The mother dragon still watched the entrance. The male beside her occasionally flared his nostrils, smelling the air. Then Mira heard it again, a howl, far, high-pitched. Not natural. Not from any animal. The male dragon rose instantly. The mother growled. Even the baby dragon hissed, its back arching. Mira stood. What was that? She whispered. The mother dragon turned to her and did something unexpected. She nudged Mira's shoulder with her nose, pushing her toward the back of the cave, then growled sharply. It wasn't an attack. It was a command. Hide. Mira didn't argue. She grabbed the baby dragon and hurried behind a pile of glowing crystals near the cave wall. She knelt down, holding the cub close, heart racing. Outside, the forest lit up. More howls, roars, screeches. Mira didn't know what was coming, but she finally understood. Saving a dragon was just the beginning. Now something was coming for her because of it. The cave shook, not from thunder, not from wind, but from something huge landing outside. Mira held the baby dragon tightly in her arms, hidden behind the glowing crystal pile. She didn't move. She barely breathed. Her heart pounded so loud she thought whatever was out there could hear it. The growls outside had stopped. The strange howls that came from the jungle gone. Now silence. Terrible silence. Then a sound, wings. Giant wings. Beating strong. Dust and small stones fell from the cave ceiling as something approached slowly, heavily. The male dragon who had been guarding the cave entrance took one step back, then another, and bowed, not like before. This was different. He bowed low, almost to the ground. Mira peeked over the crystals, eyes wide. And that's when she saw her. A dragon stepped into the cave, not the mother from before. Another one. Bigger, older, wiser, and scarier. Her scales shimmered like molten silver and obsidian. Her eyes glowed white, not blue, not gold, but pure white like stars. Her wings were torn in some places, healed in others. Every scar looked like it held a story. The fire in the cave dimmed as she stepped in. Even the baby dragon went still in Mira's arms. This was not just a mother. This was a queen. The silver dragon looked around the cave once. Her glowing eyes locked on the baby. Then they slowly moved to Mira and didn't look away. Mira stood up slowly. She didn't know why. Her body moved on its own. She wasn't brave. She was shaking. Her throat was dry. But something in that dragon's gaze pulled her up. The dragon stepped closer, slow and steady. Every footstep echoed like thunder. When she reached Mira, she stopped just one breath away. Mira could feel the heat coming off her skin, could hear her deep, slow breathing. Then the dragon lowered her head. Mira froze. The baby dragon chirped weakly. The queen dragon brought her giant eye close to them. She sniffed. Mira felt the breath hot like steam rush over her face. Then the dragon spoke, not with words, not with sound, but inside Mira's mind. You are the one who answered the cry. The one who stepped into death to protect life. Mira gasped. Her eyes filled with tears. You can talk? The dragon blinked slowly. You carry the mark. You are not dragon, but you are not only human anymore. The mark on Mira's chest glowed faintly. Mira looked down. She didn't understand. That child is of my blood. The Dragon Queen continued, her thoughts clear in Mira's head. He was thrown away by cowards. You brought him back. Now we must decide what to do with you. Mira felt cold. Her throat tightened. Please, she whispered. I didn't mean to interfere. I just couldn't let him die. The queen stared for a long time. Then, for the first time, Mira saw the dragon's expression soften. That is why you live. She lifted her head and roared, not in anger, but in announcement. The cave walls vibrated. Outside, wings flapped. Dozens of dragons answered with roars of their own. One by one, they landed around the cave from every direction, young, old, small, large, and they bowed. Mira stepped back, holding the baby dragon tighter. What's happening? She whispered. The silver dragon turned again to Mira, voice calm, but powerful in her mind. You are now under our protection. The child has chosen you. His bond cannot be broken. You are one of us now. But this gift has a price. Mira looked up. What kind of price? Others have seen what you did. Not all species love dragons. Some fear us, some hunt us. And now that you bear our mark, the queen's gaze sharpened. They will come for you too. Mira swallowed hard. Her world had changed in one night. She had jumped into a river to save a baby. Now she stood in front of a dragon queen marked, claimed, and hunted. As the queen stepped back, Mira looked down at the baby dragon, who was now staring at her with bright, trusting eyes. He didn't seem afraid. He was home. And Mira realized, so was she. Mira stood at the edge of the glowing valley, her clothes still damp from the cave's mist. The baby dragon perched on her shoulder like a strange living crown. Below her, dragons, dozens of them, lined the cliffs and rock walls, watching in complete silence. Their eyes shimmered in every color: red, silver, violet, green. No growls, no roars, just quiet, heavy, respectful, ancient. She wasn't sure how she ended up here. One moment she was being led by the Silver Queen, the next she was brought to this valley, deep in the mountains, hidden from satellites, humans, and warships. A sacred place, and she was the only human to ever walk on its stone floor. She looked down at her chest. The glowing mark was still there, bright now, alive, shaped like a spiral of wind and flame. It didn't hurt, but it burned not with fire, but with meaning. The baby dragon cooed softly in her ear, then leapt down to the ground and walked in front of her. It turned to her, then looked toward a tall stone platform at the valley center. Mira felt the pull. Something wanted her to move forward. She took a slow step. The ground beneath her feet lit up in ancient blue patterns. Symbols formed with every step, glowing like soft fireflies trapped in the stone. The dragons around her bowed their heads one by one in a wave of silence. The Silver Queen stood at the far end of the platform. She waited, tall, still, wings spread wide. Mira walked until she stood before her again. You don't know what this place is? The queen said, not out loud but inside Mira's mind. Mira shook her head slowly. No, I don't. This is the heart of flame. The ground where only those who are bound to dragons by soul may walk. And now you walk. The queen's eyes narrowed. You saved a child of our kind, not for glory, not for gain, just because. That makes you something our kind honors above all else. Mira swallowed. What am I now? The queen stepped forward. The ground trembled slightly under her weight. You are a scale bound. Mira blinked. What does that mean? It means you carry our blood's trust. You are marked by the child you saved. Wherever you go, dragons will feel your presence. They will not harm you. They may even fight beside you. Mira stepped back slightly, overwhelmed. But I'm just human. Not anymore. The queen looked up suddenly. One of the cliffs burst into light. A large crystal blade, half metal, half glowing stone, rose from the ground. Two dragons flew over it and picked it up together. They brought it down to Mira and laid it at her feet. Mira stared. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a sign. This blade is only given to those who wear the mark of honor. It will answer only to you now. Others will see it, and they will know what you are. Mira touched the blade's hilt. It felt warm, alive. The moment her skin made contact, the blade hummed softly and then pulsed with light, matching the glow on her chest. The crowd of dragons let out a soft rumbling sound, not a roar, not a cry. A chant, as if the mountains themselves were singing. Mira looked up, stunned. She had never wanted this. She had never asked for this. But she couldn't deny it anymore. She had become part of something greater than her world, greater than her species. The baby dragon ran to her again, circling her legs. She bent down, picked him up, and held him close. I guess we're stuck together now, huh? She whispered. The dragon chirped happily. The Silver Queen stepped forward one last time. You may leave this valley when you wish, but understand there are those who will come for you, for him, for the bond you carry. The galaxy does not forgive what it fears. Mira nodded slowly. I'll protect him, then we will protect you. And as she stepped away from the platform, blade in one hand, baby dragon in the other, every dragon bowed once more, not because she was strong, not because she was powerful, but because she had cared. The stars blinked above her like old, silent watchers. Mira sat at the edge of a floating cliff, deep inside the dragon sanctuary. The wind was soft here, high above the jungle, with no sounds of machines, war, or fear, just the heartbeat of nature and something ancient breathing below the surface. The baby dragon was curled in her lap, gently sleeping, his wings twitching from dream movements. He trusted her now. No more growls, no more fear. He had chosen her. But Mira couldn't sleep. Too much had changed too fast. She had come here looking for plants. She would leave with a soul bond to a creature no human had ever held, and a glowing mark on her chest that whispered every few hours like it was alive. Far behind her, the dragons still watched, not with weapons or commands, but with eyes full of memory. They saw something in her, something she didn't see in herself yet. And that night, under the twin moons, the Silver Queen came again, but not alone this time. 2 young dragons followed her, carrying something between them. It shimmered like moonlight, soft, fragile. They landed beside Mira, and the queen's voice entered her mind once more. You saved one of ours. That life now belongs to your care. But this is more. Mira looked down at what the dragons had set on the mossy stone. It was an egg no bigger than her head. Its surface glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. It was warm, alive. Mira's lips parted in shock. Is this another dragon? The queen nodded slowly. This egg was dying. Its connection to life was fading. But after you touched the child, the ancient bond answered. You have awakened something lost. This egg will live, but only if raised by a bonded soul. Mira reached out, hands trembling. The moment her fingers touched the shell, a spark passed through her arm, not fire, not pain. Something deeper, like the feeling of a voice inside her chest. Not speaking words but feeling them. Joy, hope, longing, and a question. Are you my mother? Tears welled in Mira's eyes. She had no children of her own. She never wanted to raise anything in a world full of war and noise. But here she had found something innocent, pure. She pulled the egg into her arms, close to her chest. Yes, she whispered. I am now. The Silver Queen closed her eyes and for the first time, bowed her head to Mira. Then take the skies. Scale-bound. You are no longer a guest. You are one of us. Suddenly, the cliff began to shift. Stone wings unfolded beneath it, revealing it was not just a cliff, but the back of a massive, ancient dragon larger than anything Mira had seen. It lifted them into the air. Mira, the baby dragon, and the glowing egg rose with the ancient beast, higher than clouds, higher than storms. Stars lit the sky around them like they had been waiting for this moment. The dragon flew in silence a long, slow circle through the sky, letting Mira see the world from above. Below, she saw villages, some human, some alien, some burning, some dark. She saw the truth. The world was still broken, hungry, divided, and she was carrying something precious into that chaos. The ancient dragon finally descended, landing on a calm plateau near the edge of the valley. The queen appeared once more. Now comes your choice. You may stay here, safe forever, and raise what you have been given in peace. Or you may return to the world, where danger waits. But so do those who need you. Mira looked down at the sleeping baby, then at the warm egg in her hands. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she stood and said 3 simple words. I will return, because some things are worth fighting for. And sometimes the strongest warriors are mothers. Mira stepped through the edge of the jungle with a dragon on her shoulder and an egg cradled in her arms. She was no longer the same woman who had come here looking for plants. She had walked through storm and fire. She had stood before dragons. She had been marked by ancient power and given a bond no human had ever known. Now she walked with purpose back to the world, back to danger. It didn't take long before they found her. Human. Patrol drones buzzed above. She knew the signal was sent. Government eyes, military minds. The girl who disappeared had returned with something they didn't understand. 3 armored trucks surrounded her at the jungle's edge. Soldiers stepped out, weapons drawn. Put the creature down, one barked. Step away from the egg. Mira didn't flinch. The baby dragon on her shoulder growled. From the jungle trees behind her, glowing eyes appeared, gold, blue, red. Dragons watching, waiting. One soldier raised his weapon. Mira held up her hand calmly. You don't understand what you're threatening, she said. This egg is not a weapon. This child is not an enemy. They're dragons. Dragons, another shouted. They burn cities. Not unless you attack them first, Mira replied. Just then, the Silver Queen landed silent behind the humans, her wings spread wide, her eyes glowing like twin suns. Every soldier dropped their weapon. Some fell to their knees. Mira turned around, slowly, and looked up at her. The queen didn't speak in anyone's mind. She didn't need to. Her presence said it all. Mira stepped forward. She lifted the egg high. This egg is life, she said, loud enough for the others to hear. I was chosen to protect it, and now I choose to protect every child like this, no matter their species. Silence. The dragons behind her didn't roar. They bowed, and slowly, the soldiers did too. Weeks passed. The world didn't change overnight, but it changed a little. News spread of the human woman who returned with dragons, not as a prisoner, not as prey, but as family. Some called her a traitor. Some called her a hero. But the dragons had a different name for her now. Fire Mother. Mira built a home on the cliffs, far from the cities. There, the egg hatched into a shining silver hatchling with golden eyes. The baby dragon she first saved grew strong. He no longer needed her lap to sleep, but he still curled beside her every night. Dragons visited often. They brought food, stories, gifts from places humans had never seen. But more than anything, they brought respect. She was not just a human anymore. She was one of the pack. Sometimes she would walk alone through the valley at night, stars above, wind in her hair, and she'd whisper, I thought I was saving one small life that day, but it was me who was saved.